So my kid's autistic and he has a tendency to like elope, which means he'll like run off, wander off, etc. So the first time it happened, it literally was terrifying. He ended up on the highway. When people tell you what happens, boom, in a split second, they're not lying. I mean, that was horrifically traumatizing because not only did I think I could have lost my son, like in that moment, I thought maybe he was in the woods, he could have been hit by a car, but also typically you get investigated, which I was terrified even more, like, oh my god, another chance at possibly losing my son. Fortunately, they were very nice about it. Anyways, I have OCD, I've talked about it before, and after that incident, I kinda maybe spiraled a little bit when it comes to my OCD. My house is like Fort Knox. I mean, I literally call it that. Cameras, I got 'em. Locks on every window, every door, I got it. Do you hear that? That's an alarm. Motion detectors. He's got a GPS tracker. And I know a lot of people are like, oh my god, that's too much, that's infringing on privacy. But until you're faced with the fact that there are probably going to be multiple times in the future where your kid finds a way to get away from you and you have to deal with that worry, I don't want to hear it. I live in constant fear that my son's brilliance will allow him to find a way to get out of the house into a world where he doesn't understand the consequences. The second time my son ended up getting away, he didn't get far because we have all these precautionary measures in place, so everything was okay. But when I asked him, what were you looking for? Why'd you do that? He said he was going to the woods so he could see Goldilocks and the Three Bears. When it comes to like hacking his way out of things, he's brilliant. When it comes to distinguishing like reality from fantasy and understanding rational like consequence, he struggles. Well, anyways, I got a new therapist and I really like him. He's the perfect fit for me. He is no bullshit and I think it is fantastic. And right now we're working on like my OCD, like my compulsive tendency to like check things and like make sure everything's locked, all cameras are on, the stove is off, checking everything a million times, having my husband check things. And so he asked me, he's like, what is the core thought driving you to, make sure that everything is locked down, like everything is armed? And I told him, well, it's that my son is going to find a way to run away and I'll lose him. So then we start going through all of the safety measures I have in place to prevent that from happening, to think more rationally about the situation. I'm like, yeah, I got motion detectors, I got cameras. Then my son's alarm went off in the background, his room alarm. He's like, was that an alarm? I'm like, yeah. He's like, MJ, this is like Fort Knox. I'm like, yeah, that's what I call it actually. He's like, let's be rational here, okay? This is like Shawshank Redemption. The only exit out of your house is the toilet. No, but it is true. I'm working on it, though.